Well, well, SCENTual Obsessions has their Creed Absolu Aventus clone ready to go. So Kevin sent it my way. It's called Absolute King. So I'm eager to check it out. We are going to do a side-by-side with Absolu Aventus and see if Kevin was able to get an exact match. Let's see how it turns out. Stay tuned. Official Creed Absolu Aventus sample. Absolute King. So, watch hand has SCENTual Obsessions version. Non-watch hand has Creed. Juicy fruit, spicy, sweet. Such a watery, mouth-watering fruitiness. That's the beauty of Absolu Aventus. The opening is a mouth-watering fruitiness. Let's see if we have a similar opening. We most certainly do, but I get a hint more of spice in SCENTual Obsessions version right away than I do in the original. It's a distinctive gingery smell, so whatever ginger oil is used here, I think is a little bit more dominant, at least on the test strip in SCENTual Obsessions version versus Creed's original, but very similar. I would say just this initial blast, they're probably 85 to 90%. Like, it's not spot on because there is a subtle change here where I get a little bit more of a gingery spice in the clone. They're getting much closer as it just kind of settles. Maybe it's just that initial blast. Very fruit dominant, tart, but not super sweet, but a very juicy, slightly tart fruitiness, a little bit of citrus. Same here, but I smell ginger more in SCENTual Obsessions version. Not quite identical, but out in the air, probably the same thing. So just for the hell of it, we are going to go right here on top of the hand. It's clean with the original. Same hands. We're going on skin. Same hands as the others. So again, watch hand is the clone. Non-watch hand is the original. Let's give it a sec. So much spicier directly on skin with the original as compared to the fruitiness, and the citrus stands out more on the test strip. Much closer to one another directly in the opening on skin. Spicy citrus and fruits on both sides. Now, you'll see a lot of people talk about Sauvage Elixir when it comes to Absolu Aventus. As it dries a little bit closer, sure. In the opening, no. It's its own opening for sure. It's a beautiful, fresh, like I said, juicy citrus and fruity mix with some spice in the top. Mainly some ginger, I believe some pink pepper as well. It is a phenomenal opening, I gotta say. It's such a great fragrance. It is one of the best releases of 2023. It's a similar spice, though it stands out a little bit more and say like it's the same thing that I was getting on the test strips is the same slight difference that I get on skin. So I'm going to wait about 30 minutes. I'll come back and we'll revisit to see what the changes are and if they're developing very similar to one another.
1 million, zillion, jillion, dillion, cotillion times later.
All right, so I've given it some time. I actually filmed another video while I was waiting, and because I figured I might as well use my time wisely here, and definitely gotten much spicier, a touch woodsy, much spicier. It really is a beautiful fragrance for those of you that haven't smelled Absolu Aventus. It's not as dense. It's more so like it's not as woodsy, I think, is where the lack of density comes from with SCENTual Obsessions version. But it's nailed down the spice It's just not quite as woodsy. There's a clear woody note here in Absolute King, but it's not as woodsy. Like I keep going back to that 85 to 90% accurate range where it's absolutely not spot on. It's not a dead ringer. But I bet out in the air it'd be pretty hard to tell the difference because up close I'm able to, subtly pick out a little bit here and there, but it's distinctive enough, but not. It's not a big enough deal. It's really not. It's a pretty good job here, I gotta say. That fruitiness, the citrus, everything's calmed down. It's much warmer and spicier, but it still has this airy, fresh side to it. But it is a warmer spice. Yeah, slight woody nuance difference is really all I get between the two. And it's been about, let me look at the time, roughly 40 minutes since I pressed stop on the first segment of this video. I think Kevin did a really good job here. They seem to be pushing about the same on skin too. I think performance will probably be what and what. This is a parfum. So it's going to be at least 25%. Kevin does pretty high oil concentration, so longevity will definitely be there. But 15 ml, that's plenty for me. This is the kind of stuff I was waiting on. A lot of you asked me, am I going to get any of the clones? I was waiting on Kevin's version. Michael Dinsmore will probably make a version. Like, that's the ones I'm more interested in trying, honestly. But this is the first Absolu Aventus clone that I'm trying, and it's pretty damn close. I gotta say, SCENTual Obsessions got pretty damn close. I'm gonna say 85 to 90%. Not quite 1-to-1. The opening, I figured, was about 85 to 90% subtle difference. This was a little spicier at first than this was. Now that they both settled into their more woody, spicy sides, this one's slightly more woodsy than the clone, and that's really the only differences I can tell. It's slight in both instances. Deep dry down, who knows? I don't want to wait another 6 or 7 hours to do the final portion of this video, so we'll look at this as an early impressions type of thing. Absolutely worth checking out. I mean, you can get samples or you can get small 15 ml bottles like this on up. I think Kevin did a good job here. Any of you that are familiar with SCENTual Obsessions, he did it again. He did a really good job. It's not quite the carbon copy, but this is going to be one worth checking out if you're looking for an affordable option that smells pretty damn accurate to Creed Absolu Aventus. Well, that's my initial early impressions of SCENTual Obsessions version of Creed Absolu Aventus called Absolute King. Again, I think Kevin did a pretty good job here. 85 to 90% range of accuracy. And until next time, do me a real quick favor, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback and I love hearing from you guys. How many of you have tried any other Absolu Aventus clones out there? I know Dua dropped one, Alexandria, we got SCENTual Obsessions now, and I don't know who else. This is the only one I've tried so far, and so far the bar has been set in a really good spot, I think. It'd be pretty difficult to get much more accurate than this. I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm not saying it won't be done. I'm not saying it hasn't been done. I just don't know, but I can tell you based on what I'm smelling here, pretty damn close. And until next time, I will say if you get your hands on Absolute King from SCENTual Obsessions and you give it a spray now, you might end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.